when there's an injustice against you or someone you love or someone you believe in, stand up. Don't sit down on them, if they need you.
Welcome to Popcorn Planet's Pop Culture Justice. I'm Andy Signore. How are you all doing? I hope you're doing well. Oh, our guest is here too. I'm so excited to have some fun today with all you guys. But first, I gotta complain. Look, it's a slow news day, week, several weeks. I just saw this happening yesterday. And I see it happening again today. There's all this news today about the appeal, which we've already reported on, and I don't want to go into more depth about. You guys, if you missed it, go look up our video with Christopher Melcher. We broke it all down. But I'm just getting annoyed because I'm seeing Amber Heard verdict. Johnny Depp verdict has a chilling effect on women. USA Today is telling us that Amber Heard appeal says that Johnny Depp libel verdict will have a chilling effect on women. Look at this. Oh, wait, let's see what the East News says. Amber Heard appeal will have a chilling effect. It's all over the place. Chilling $10 million verdict. What this will do to women. Oh, all you women must be so just freezing out there because of Amber, and she didn't get her way. Guys, it's all over the place, all this stuff, and I'm just annoyed, and I got nobody else better than my favorite female to talk to.
Yes.
Where'd you go, sir? Miss
I'm here.
Vito.
Am I not here?
Oh, there you are. Oh, there he is. Oh, look at this beautiful man. What better than two men to talk about the chilling effect the Depp trial had on women? But yeah, hey, welcome, Vito. Welcome to the show. Glad you're
How's
here.
it
Look,
going?
I don't know if you saw Amber's appeal, but we did, we did a big stream about a lot of it. Was interesting. There's not much really to say. She's just basically saying all this stuff that I already said to the judge that they denied should have mattered. And there, as we went through with Christopher Melcher, there's really nothing in here that warrants a reversal. Like you're right, Amber, you win. Let alone a whole new trial, because all this stuff was addressed, and the judge in the trial was very fair, gave both sides certain things and not. So are you surprised to see that the mainstream media is now literally just now? It's also like days later, like this. We covered this last week, but literally 2 hours ago, yesterday, last night. Everybody going upon the chilling effect that this has on women because Vito, they didn't believe Amber. Amber lost unfairly. What do you don't follow this as much as us? I know you get frustrated, but
I follow some of it.
When you see this though, do you get why we're so annoyed and why this is still a thing? Like every mainstream outlet is now headlines. When Johnny comes out, he doesn't get any headlines like this. But when Amber does, this is a chilling effect. What is your reaction when you see this?
Well, I mean, they gotta, obviously, let's be clear, this story gets clicks. So they're trying to find an angle that'll get people to click on the story. But there's kind of nothing here. It's really just Amber Heard, saying the same thing she said. So really, almost the only thing they could pull out of it was, well, she says it'll have a chilling effect on women, because there's almost nothing else for them to report on here. I don't know if that means the media necessarily supports that narrative. I know it can give that kind of appearance, but it might be that's just the only quote they could pull out of what is otherwise, hard to report on. She doesn't have a case.
Well, that's a good point. Let's pick one. You can pick it. Deadline, US Today, Yahoo. Which one do you want to go to?
Well, I mean, what do you have up here? Who's this?
This is Deadline. All right, let's just see. How does Deadline report this?
Well, Deadline would almost editorialize a little bit, I think. But, I mean, are they saying... I don't know if they take her side.
Less than a month after Johnny filed his former appeal, some of the verdict, his sweeping defamation case. Okay, his sweeping. There we go. Heard has put in their own brief. I mean, he did too. Heard's newish lawyers are flying the flag of the First Amendment and taking trial court Judge Penny's to task repeatedly. Trial court erroneously refused to dismiss this action on the ground of for norum convenes, based on its mistaken conclusion that Depp claims arose in Virginia. Why did they do it there? That's not where the servers are. It shouldn't have been there. The trial also erred. Thank you. The trial also erred in overruling Heard's demurrer. Blah blah blah. Anyway, all this stuff is just all allowed. That holding, if allowed to stand, undoubtedly will have a chilling effect on other women who wish to speak up involving powerful men. Because the trial court erred in overruling, which she argued that the challenge statements are not actionable expressions of opinion and are not reasonably capable of conveying the alleged defamatory implication.
I mean, do you want your headline to be Amber Heard says the declared statements do not have a declaratory judge or whatever the hell that legalese was? Or is your headline going to be Amber Heard says this has a chilling effect on free speech? And that's kind of the problem, is that it's the only thing they could pull out of there. But luckily, it seems like most of these news outlets are, being as, unbiased as they can. They're not saying she's right or wrong. Just reporting on hopefully what she said.
This case should have never gone to trial because another court had already concluded. They're trying to say because he was tried in the UK fighting the Sun, therefore this Amber's defamation shouldn't be countered. It's complete nonsense.
Especially since that's a UK court. Does a UK court have some sort of jurisdiction over US court? What a crazy argument. The UK can decide whatever they want. That has nothing to do with an American court and our judgment on free speech. We don't make court decisions based on what courts in other countries have decided, or at least not to my knowledge.
No. And to be fair, Deadline has been so let's see. So far, you're right. It's just covering her appeal. Depp sued his ex-wife for $50 million under byline. In the piece, ACU ambassador wrote, also becoming public figure. They see they're doing that. The ACLU wrote it. They're trying to say like not her, but it's her under her name. So there's little things here that they're editorializing to try to give Amber more credit. While Heard never actually mentioned her husband by name, Depp insisted the op-ed devastated his already dwindling career. Yeah, sorry, no, they're totally shitting on Depp.
Well, they can't say one way or the other. They're giving both
his
sides.
Already dwindling career. Come on, dude.
Well, hold on. Depp insisted the op-ed devastated his already dwindling career. That's true. That is okay. I'll give you that. But can you say? I mean, is it accurate to say that his career was dwindling a little bit? Here's the thing: is that I would say that is accurate because his career was already kind of on the way out before the op-ed, right? Wasn't he already in trouble with the Amber Heard stuff?
No.
I thought the Amber Heard stuff was out there and it was kind of like, all right, I don't know about Johnny. You think it's really the op-ed that really completely buried him?
Yeah, I mean, she came forward and talked about the sexual abuse and stuff in that op-ed. Absolutely had a.
Which I thought you talked about that before the
2018. Op-ed. I mean, they had a settlement, divorce settlement, where they agreed not to talk about it. And then
I did not follow the timeline. I know the op-ed.
Right as Me Too happened, she decided to come back out and be like, "Hear me out, world. I'm the victim."
Yeah, I guess that makes sense if that's the timeline.
And then I mean, they're calling his career dwindling. I would argue, sure. Look, not all his movies were great near the end.
I mean, he was an older guy.
He was still a bankable
in the way
global
that,
superstar, and now he's not.
And so that is a little bit of editorializing.
Yeah, their actor repeated that assertion to stand. Oddly, Depp said nothing of the sort during his restraining order over. See, look at this. Oddly, he never said that. This restraining order that she did as a photo op, even before the $7 million settlement, effectively forbid him from doing so. I mean, it's total
anti-Depp. This is definitely editorializing. These guys
editorialized to be anti-Depp. This is ridiculous.
The writer is pushing back against Depp.
I don't even want to keep going. This is just not. That's what's so crazy. So they're totally editorializing appeals, chilling defamation verdict once reversal or new trial.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know who this Dominic Patton guy is.
That is insane to think that's going to happen. But you see my side a little bit, Vito?
No, I mean, I've always agreed I've always agreed that there's been an unfair narrative against Johnny Depp. People quickly want to side with anyone who claims to be a victim in this culture. It almost doesn't matter who it is. It helps if you're an attractive woman in Hollywood. But when someone claims to be a victim, people come running over and want to save them and don't always dig into it and find out that maybe it's not all they're claiming it is.
No, it's true. And Hollywood is such a hypocritical bullshit. Like I'll say the unpopular thing. Like Harvey Weinstein's a total monster. Why aren't we talking about like Charlize Theron and all the people who let it happen?
Who knew about it and were just
or potentially took advantage of it and got
all their movies made and were
allegedly whatever, but it's like Hollywood knew forever, and so and I believe a lot of women did it.
I think
should they be punished too, Vito? If I'm not saying she did.
Well, I think some people
Charlize Theron
slept
her way to the top with Harvey,
but
if Charlize slept her way to the top to get to the heart and get the roles and get the access, is she in the wrong?
If she slept to get to the top of a crooked system
with Harvey,
Well, no, she's not in the wrong. If she victimized other people, then yes. But if she saw a game and she chose to play the game, how can I fault her for that?
I mean, others may have seen it and thought, "Oh, he's okay because she's with him."
Yeah, she might have gave him the air of legitimacy. You know, but I'm the kind of guy who goes, "Hey, I'd sleep with Harvey Weinstein if it got me a multi-million-dollar movie deal." Like, come on, let's make it happen. Like, you know, sometimes you got to make sacrifices. That sounds terrible. Some people are willing to
But
make
that's the
sacrifices.
problem, right? And it is connected because it's
saying.
like I firmly believe Amber was using her looks and her, you know, way about her to trick Johnny.
Well,
It
I
happens all the
believe
time.
yes. You know, you know, you experience this with attractive people as they get away with a lot in life because people have a weird assumption about attractive people. They think that attractiveness equals moral purity and goodness and whatever else. And there's a lot of attractive people that are freaking crazy and take advantage of that goodwill that they're given. You can't operate on that kind of assumption.
Well, I mean, but as we continue to plenty more to talk about as we go there, my main point here in frustration was this, that it is all editorialized. I just like,
yeah.
First of all, why are you guys all so late? Like, what awful news organizations that you're just now coming to it? But all these like media outlets trying to play like they didn't follow the trial. That's what's also so frustrating. So they didn't follow the trial, and they're going to continue to like put this false narrative out that Judge Escarati was at all, you know, if anybody was questionable, it was Justice Nichols in the UK. Like, he was awful.
Yeah.
Like his whole, they use that as sort of like a judge in the UK had a 180-page verdict that slammed. But if you go through it, you realize he just completely ignores all of it. Like, we've had Black Belt Barrister. We should get him on again. It's just good to talk to him. But he's such a smart guy, an actual barrister from the UK. It was like, goes through like, this is ridiculous. None of these verdicts that Justice Nichols did makes any sense. And so the Amber fans will just sort of give him he's the authority, but Judge Escarati, was way fair. Like, I think one of the fairest I've seen, because she didn't give Johnny everything either, to be fair. Johnny had some stuff that were left on the table, and Amber she gave each piece. But for the media to just assume that was, yeah, this must be what it is. This is going to be a chilling effect. No, Amber is a chilling effect for people who are lying. Everyone should realize now, don't go lying. You're going to get caught. It was actually a huge thing because liars will get caught. Right, Vito? Don't you think so?
Yeah. And it's also a matter of, listen, you were in a relationship. I still maintain, look, I don't think Johnny's an angel. I'm sure they had arguments and whatever else. But it's also like, why do you need to leave that situation? You got a divorce settlement. Both of you have some problems. Hopefully you can work it out privately. But why do you get to then go, I'm the ultimate martyr, I'm the only one who was harmed because I'm the woman, when there's very clear evidence that you harmed Johnny, you did things to Johnny, you gave as well as you, and maybe more than anything you ever got, or it seems like more. It's a very one-sided look of things that, this beautiful woman can do nothing wrong, and this man is a monster. And we know Johnny Depp. We've seen the movies. We've seen how he is with people. He's not a monstrous man. He's not a murderer and a psychopath. And it's crazy how quickly society turns on you. Again, when you have this one woman to say, no, he's the greatest monster. You have no idea. He did all these, and just believes her wholesale. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll push back on the... I don't think, you said as much. She got back as much as he could take or whatever. Like, I really don't think it was like that. I don't see evidence of him being abusive. Like, I see evidence of him being fed up. I see evidence of him.
There's some stuff that is undecided,
or mean, like in text or words. But
what do you think about him throwing the cell phone at her? I imagine that could have happened.
He didn't throw it at her. I mean, he's thrown stuff against the wall. Yeah. There's that infamous video where he's throwing the glass and breaking the cabinets. She inserts herself into that scenario. Like, he came home allegedly and lost, like, what was it, chat? Like $500 million that his accountants were siphoning. And he's in there like, I probably would have done the same fucking thing.
I'm talking about Amber Heard says Johnny Depp threw a phone at her face, and that's why she filed for divorce 2 days later.
No, I don't believe that. I'm like, no. What did she do? Like, I don't. Given everything I've heard, no, I don't believe he just randomly was like sitting there and was like, Amber. No, I don't. Because listening to those tapes and everything that we know, no, I don't believe that woman.
Here's the thing: is I wasn't there. I don't know, but I'm willing to say, even if it did happen,
he drank. He did drugs. Like, so did she.
I've gotten mad and I've thrown stuff, and it's very possible, you know, you try to throw something past somebody, you accidentally hit them. I don't know exactly what happened. But, you know, that's the thing is she has her stories. You know, we can assume whether she's completely telling the truth or stretching the truth or whatever else. But I think it's very possible something happened at some point. But again, none of it adds up to Johnny as an irreparable monster. It added up to, this is a guy, we got in a lot of fights. Occasionally things would get thrown around. I threw stuff, he threw stuff, whatever else. And I don't think that's enough to bury a guy forever. And you can disagree and say she made it all up and he's never done anything in his life. Honestly, I don't buy that either. I don't believe Johnny's a complete angel. You know, but I think she probably took things that he'd done and stretched the truth, you know, saying, oh, he broke this when it actually, you know, people like take small little incidents and then they like to stretch it out and go.
Was that when, so the phone was when she sliced his finger off, chat? I'm trying to figure out, look, and not every, Vito doesn't ever just say what people tell him to say. He has his own opinions and I appreciate him for that. Yeah,
Amber Heard
I don't know which
showed
phone
pictures of
incident
her
you're talking
face
about.
and said it's from her throwing a phone at her face. I don't know if he ever denied that, or I don't know if his.
But was that the Australia incident when she was getting cutting his finger off? Because that would, again, that's what I'm saying, Vito. The context matters, and if you're just reading a headline from the articles that clearly all have always punished him, I think that's what we got to be careful of. Because I don't believe he was physical. I've seen no evidence of him being physical to her. Now, has he smashed things? Sure. Has he done drugs and things? Sure. None of that is relevant and makes him abusive or, you know, the same. And verbally abusive is something else I feel like we don't really pay attention to. Like when you listen to those audios, like this is a guy who's just being beaten down verbally and emotionally just, you know, battered by. It's like, it's troubling. Listen to, there's like hours and hours of her and him just trying to leave and she won't let him. And so there's also physical incidences that have been documented and she admits to, right, that she did. But all of it combined just makes it like hard for me to accept any possibility that he was the one going out there initiating any sort of physical thing. That's just me. So when I see all this, that's where I'm standing. And basing it all off of the evidence and stuff, yeah. I mean, do I think that was a toxic relationship in itself? Yes, because of her, and because then he would argue with her, and all they would do was fight. Yeah, I could understand that. Like, sort of like this relationship was doomed because I think she brought out the worst in him, and they had to like just keep yelling at each other and having these constant arguments. That I'll accept and stuff, but to me, there's only one abuser in this relationship, and it was Amber. That's my 2 cents. But I'm going to talk more with Vito about that and more, but I do want to trim it here. And you guys, I'd love for you to yell at Vito in the comments. I love when people yell at Vito.
Please do.
It's always fun. Go yell at him or subscribe to him and here by hitting that bell, hit the button, smash the like, and leave a comment. You can hit the Vito. Look up Vito on YouTube. You'll find him. Or do it here. And if you want to watch the full show, which we're going to talk even more, you can always watch the replays by hitting join and catching it at your leisure. Pick a level and support it full on. That's how you do it. Become a Planeteer.